Hello, this is Edith Newmeyer, and I'm the author of the book, The Mystery of Adam. Well, today I have a new microphone, so I'm hoping maybe that the sound will be better um, than before. I tried to use my camcorder, but my camcorder didn't work very well. So I'm going to try. I'm back on using my computer for recording. There's just a delay in the between the recording and my microphone, and I did not like it. Well, I need to do another video, and this is my second one. Actually, it's my third one. I got a little emotional on this section. I want to do another one on divorce because I feel that we've been so brainwashed and and we've been put on this guilt trip. I A lot of us, including me, for so long about divorce. People are just lying and lying and lying about these number one translations. They don't want to go back to the original text. They insist on reading false translations. And I have addressed that, before, that this whole thing about divorce um, and the belief that divorce is against God or is even sin, okay, is was caused because of these false translations. Now I looked up in my German Bible, as I said that last time. I really needed to see how the German Bible translated it. And I have a Züricher Bible, and that dates back to Zwillingli, who translated the Bible. And it is really interesting that he um, translated these sections in Matthew correctly as sending the wife away. Okay? However, there's still a chance that you may misinterpret it and say, well, sending away means giving her a divorce. But that's not what it means. In the original text, sending her away means sending her away without a divorce paper. And most people, they don't want to go to this original text um, and really understand that Jesus did not say that divorce is wrong. He just said divorce is wrong for any reason. And he was also very strongly saying, no, you can't just send your wife away because, and not give her a divorce paper. So both have to be in place. There has to be a real reason, and you send your wife away. And I looked up divorce, God hates divorce. I looked that one up because I was looking at Malachi. Malachi was writing God hates divorce, and I remember that much, right? And I also remember that Malachi, was describing that God, what kind of divorce God, and I will bring it up here in a little bit, but that prompted me to look up some other things. And again, I was so reminded. I came across see, I have to find it here. Came this, where is it? That what? There. Came about across the website, and it says divorce is a sin. And it just reminded me again how people are trying to put other people on a guilt trip when it comes to divorce. And they don't know the original text. They blabber out whatever they heard in church. They use really short verses, and they not the whole text, to show their point. Now, this article on divorce is a sin, that guy even, oh my goodness, even used that was horrible. I mean, just harping on how wrong it is and how he actually hates divorce and God hates divorce. Never really quoting the whole section in Malachi where God really describes what he really, the action that he really hates. Um, but to top it all, he even comes across and mentions Hillary Clinton. Oh my, I'm going to have to read this. He says, even Hillary Clinton, as demonically wicked as she is, and I don't agree with that. I mean, I don't know Hillary Clinton that well to know that she has that she's demonically wicked. I know she's not a very wonderful lady. Um, but he says here, this demonically wicked person faithfully remained by her playboy husband's side through it all. And then he continues to say, think about that, you ladies who are considering filing for divorce. Uh, I mean, so he is saying here that those ladies that are filing for divorce because their husband committed adultery or once or twice or even more. Um, let's just talk about this section right here. Number one, Hillary Clinton is not the best lady to use here as an example because number one, I don't think she's faithful to her husband at all. And Hillary Clinton, I'm almost certain, had a reason to not um, divorce her husband because of power. I don't know what reasons she had, but most likely it was not because she was faithful. Okay. I know Hillary Clinton that much that I know she does some pretty um, mean things. And I don't think that she was thinking about her husband at that time. Because the thing, if Hillary Clinton really would have been a really Christian woman, she would have left her husband. Okay? You can forgive a husband once, but as many times as he played the playboy is grounds enough for a wife to say, you know what, enough is enough. You have you have uncovered my nakedness, and that's how the Old Testament uses it. You uncover the other person's nakedness when you have an affair. Okay, you are treating your wife, and it doesn't matter whether it's the wife committing adultery or the husband committing. That is a serious offense. Adultery is a serious offense. You don't just, oh, I forgive you thing. That is not the way it is. Okay? Somebody who is an adulterer, he will do it or she will do it again. Okay? She has no conscience. She doesn't or he doesn't care. Okay? Or else he or she would have not done it in the first place. This whole thing about, oh, I was weak and blah, blah, blah. And no. I have counseled, I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I've counseled couples. And it's usually not just one time, it's usually more than once. Okay? When people are committing adultery, they're continuously doing it. And I understand that we need to forgive people. I need to forgive my husband, and forgive just means I will not punish my husband for what he has done to me. When a person commits adultery, he or she is hurting that person severely. It destroys um, trust. You treat that person with absolute disrespect. Okay, absolute disrespect, and that's why it was so serious in the Old Testament, and it was considered, God used it as one of the 10 Commandments, that you shall not commit adultery. It is really a sin. Adultery is a sin. Getting a divorce is not a sin. Okay, it's not one of the 10 Commandments. And so when somebody gets a divorce because the other person committed adultery, that is acceptable. by God. The other person already broke the marriage, and so it's acceptable. This person that wrote this divorces his sin absolutely didn't know what he was scribbling down on the internet. But that is exactly what people use nowadays to put people on a guilt trip. Absolute on a guilt trip. He writes here, divorce is a sin for numerous reasons. Number one, because you are breaking your marriage vows. And then he is saying, till death do us part. So I have a man that's committing, or a woman, doesn't matter, wife or husband, commits adultery. And that man or that woman then comes out and says, no, you cannot get a divorce because you would break our marriage vows. Now, what do you think that man or that woman did that committed adultery? That man or woman did not break the marriage vows. And when you break the marriage vows, isn't that a breaking? Okay, it is a breaking of the marriage vows. It's already broken. Your marriage was not broken because somebody violated till death do us part. Okay, they violated the marriage vows, and therefore it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, I totally agree that marriage vows are till death does us part if both sides fulfill the marriage vows. That's why marriage vows are so important. So important. Sit down and take your vows seriously. It means not just I'm committing adultery, but also, guess what? Honor, respect, caring. If somebody is abusive, emotionally abusive, physically abusive, that's not honor, respect. That is absolutely breaking marriage vows. Okay? So when they are broken, people, that person already violated till death does us part. Okay? I don't think that's a good phrase, and I would, if I ever would get married, I would not use that ever again. I would make up marriage vows and say, hey, you break any of these marriage vows, I have a reason to leave. I may forgive you, but if it's severe enough, I will not stay in a relationship. Because see, eventually relationships are broken. Okay? And you may say, yeah, I forgive you once, but that person continues and continues and continues. And there comes a time when a person says, no, I had enough. Okay? I had enough. You broke these vows enough that I'm done with it. I'm done. Okay? So this till death do us part, I think is a wrong phrase. And that phrase was actually used not until I think the Middle Ages. It was a phrase that the Catholic Church added. Okay, it's a phrase that didn't exist originally, not in the Jewish wedding, because the Jews knew exactly that marriage may not be forever. Okay. Next one he was bringing up here is because God said not to divorce. No, and he quotes 1 Corinthians 7:10-11. And again, he didn't quote the whole thing. Okay, let not the wife depart from her husband. Again, it says here depart. It doesn't say divorce. Does not a wife divorce her husband? That's not what it says. Depart from her husband. Okay, that means depart means to not live away from that husband without having a divorce decree. Because see, if the wife would get a divorce, the husband would be free to have another wife. Okay, and that means he would be covered sexually. But if he doesn't have a divorce paper and he gets married again or he has sexual intercourse, then guess what? He's an adulterous person. That's not good. And it says, let not the husband put away his wife. And again, here's that put away, not divorce. That means send her away. Okay? So here again, this guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. Because you are one for better or for worse. No. Wrong. That is absolutely wrong. When you commit adultery, you're definitely not one anymore. Okay? And also, you are one as long as you really have a companionship. And I will read Malachi in a little bit. And he is actually, God is actually saying that. Okay? Companion. He's actually using the word companion. Okay? And when you are constantly, like for instance, abusing your spouse, if you are constantly having affairs, well, constantly, just once in a while having an affair is already enough, or even once having an affair is enough. Because you know what? When you have an affair, you're going to connect to that other person. Okay, and I'm not saying sexually is when you become one. I'm not saying that. Matter of fact, that's not the only time you become one. A oneness is more when you care and you see the other as a partner. That's when oneness happens. And oneness only happens, true oneness only happens in combination with God. Uh, Man and woman don't become one very easily unless God is involved. And that oneness can break. Oneness can break. Okay? Trust is one of the things that will definitely break a oneness. Constant abuse that you don't think, hey, does this guy really love me? If he abuses me constantly, or the other way around. Okay? It's not just with men. Women are very abusive as well. Because divorce is quitting. Quitting. And God doesn't quit. Well, you know what? God doesn't quit. That's good because he is God. But he also quits with people that will not accept him. Okay, that's not true too. God doesn't quit with believers. God doesn't give up on people that he knows will eventually accept him. But he definitely gives up on people that he knows will not accept him. So that's not true. So you know what? Here is one thing that I'm going to say to this. God quit with Israel. In Jeremiah, and I don't know which one, and I think I mentioned that before, God actually divorces Israel. Okay? And for me, that's quitting. So you can't say that God never quits. When the contract, the covenant is not fulfilled, and it's constantly not fulfilled, Israel was whoring with other gods many, many times, and finally God said, enough is enough. And he got a divorce. Okay? Whoever wrote this, hopefully he will actually even hear what I have to say here about his stupid article, that he needs to, get off from the internet, or at least do some more research, because this guy didn't do any research. Then number 5, because divorce is unwillingness to forgive. No, absolutely not. I can forgive, but still can say, you know what, enough is enough. You've hit me enough. You have called me a whore enough. You have, whatever. Enough is enough. Okay, you have whored around with another woman enough, and no, I'm not gonna. Enough is enough. I can forgive you. I will not. Again, this forgiveness has to do with giving up the right to punish the other person, giving up the right to stone that person that committed adultery. You don't have to do that. Okay, you can forgive and walk away. Now, I'll mention here Mary and Joseph. Joseph thought that Mary, when she got pregnant, that Mary actually committed adultery. And he forgave her. And he wanted to put her away secretly. Okay? He wanted to divorce her secretly. He didn't drag her before the officials and had her stoned. He wanted to divorce her secretly. And that's forgiveness. I forgive you, but I'm not going to continue with you. And then, of course, this angel came and said, "No, Joseph, don't do that. Mary has conceived through the Holy Spirit." So next one, the 6th, is because divorce is self-righteous hypocrisy. I think this person that wrote this article has problems with self-righteous hypocrisy. He is definitely a hypocrite. A hypocrite because he does not want to acknowledge that there's reasons why people need to get a divorce. Um, Very, very sad. And of course, he brings out this sad things about children, and how much miserable the kids are when two people get a divorce. And you know what? If you get a divorce, I know children do suffer, but they suffer because the two people are stubborn. Okay, they're stubborn, and they don't want to acknowledge, hey, we can't live together, so we at least make it work for the kids the best we can. And it has to do with forgiveness. Okay, I can forgive my partner and still get a divorce because that we're just not a good match. We constantly fight. Kids should not have to be in a relationship where two people constantly fight, and they don't have to witness abuse constantly between two people. Children don't have to witness drama constantly. So I think for children it is actually good. Divorce is actually good for children, because they should not witness these adult quarrels all the time. If people can work it out, great, let's do it. Okay, but if they don't, it divorce is actually a good thing for the kids. And the two parents should be adult enough to sit down and say, for the kids' sake, we're going to have a smooth divorce. Okay, I will not keep my child away from their father, or the other way around. The kids need to have access to both of them, the man and the husband, and the father and the mother. So this people, there is so much propaganda out there, so much awful propaganda, um, in this fear mongering and this guilt mongering about divorce. And it is done by people that have absolutely no idea what God has written and wants about divorce. Now I'm going to go and read Malachi, because so many people, and I'm looking at it here, because so many people are writing this or using this Malachi, God hates divorce. And it's Malachi 2. Okay, it starts actually in 15, the second part. You should be on guard then for your life, and do not break faith with the wife of your youth. Okay, let's start a little earlier. Start in 14. Because the Lord is witness between you and the wife of your youth, with whom you have broken faith. Okay, broken faith. So the person that is getting the divorce has already broken faith with the wife, though she is your companion. There's that word, companion. Your covenant wife. Did he not make them one with flesh and spirit? Oh my goodness, this is actually a Catholic translation. Did he not make them one with flesh and spirit? In other words, it's not the flesh only, it's the spirit. It's all three: body, soul, and spirit. Okay? So when either one is broken, when somebody beats his wife or is emotionally abusive, is breaking the bond, people. Do you understand that? That's breaking the bond. Okay? God made them one. But whoever this writer Malachi is addressing, he broke the bond already, the companionship, the covenant. He broke that. And what does the one require? Godly offspring. Okay? You should be on guard then for your life, and do not break faith with the wife of your youth. For I hate divorce, says the Lord, the God of Israel, and the one who covers his garments with violence, says the Lord of hosts. You should be on guard then for your life, and you must not break faith. Now, here he is talking about and when you read it in other translations, treacherous. Okay, he treats his wife treacherously, and so he is saying that this guy who is putting her away has already broken the marriage before he officially sends her away, because he's no longer a companion, and he's no, he's treating her with disrespect, and that is what God hates. God hates exactly what Jesus said, for sending a wife away without a reason, just because you don't want her anymore. Okay? This has nothing to do with somebody who is really violated and the vows were broken, and now that person says, I want out, I want to get a divorce. It has nothing to do with that. Okay? This lady that was so treacherously treated by this husband, she had the right to get a divorce. Okay? She had the right. Of course, this husband already sent her away before she even had a chance, and usually that wasn't the case anyways. Women didn't divorce their husbands because they were too dependent on them. But and the one who covers his garments with violence, that's how they translated this one, who dealt treacherously. That's what another translation is. And you know what? God was saying you should be on guard then for your life. Okay, that's what God says. This is not a righteous, and I'm going to bring that out maybe. This is not talking about a righteous divorce when the other person breaks the covenant. This is talking about the person that actually breaks the covenant. Okay, and that person that breaks the covenant should be on guard, because that person already broke the marriage. Okay, giving that other person a divorce paper only makes it official, and that makes now that an official that these people are not married anymore. And so when they have relations with another person, they cannot be accused of being adulterous. That's all the divorce paper does, and that's what Jesus brought up in Matthew 19. So keep this in mind, because that's that is very, very important to remember. This is a kind of a little long one, but I think it was necessary, and I think I was a little calmer this time, because I was really upset when I read that article, because I went through that first through my time when I was raised Catholic. People just putting a guilt trip on you. And then in the evangelical churches, same thing. People put a guilt trip, on you when you get a divorce. And so you know what the end result is? The end result is, and I see it many times too, that the person has to find a reason to get a divorce. So they make the other person look really, really bad to justify their decision to get a divorce. Okay? And we don't need that justification. Okay? When I am realizing and the other person has violated the vows, I can just say, hey, I want out. Okay? I don't have to make the other person look bad. I can just say, you know what? I want out. Now, of course, sometimes we also have the other one, the case, and that was the case with me. And I don't want to talk bad about my ex, but that's what my ex did. We got a divorce, and I had another partner, and he told me, well, now that I committed adultery because God didn't respect our divorce, and now that I committed adultery with another man, and now he is free to get married. Well, guess what? That's not how God looks at it. That's why God said, that's why Jesus said, Moses told you to give your wife a divorce paper. And it's not just the wife, but also to the husband. Okay? It is give your partner a divorce paper. That way you will not commit adultery. Okay? When you have another wife or another husband. Well, I want to finish up with that, but I didn't even talk about everything. It's kind of strange. I never get finished, and this is already 30 minutes. So I really need to finish up. But I didn't think it would take this long with this marriage. I want to also talk about how important it is. It is so vitally important to have this opportunity to divorce the partner that has violated um, the marriage vows. Because when a partner knows that from the beginning, maybe they're more careful. Okay, when somebody knows that if you violate the vows, that there is an out, maybe you are more aware of um, reality. And maybe sometimes people say, hey, I have to be more careful because that lady can, or this man can give me a divorce. Okay, when I'm not fulfilling the promises that I have made. So yeah, I want to finish up this time. Maybe I'll make another one just to add some more, but because there is so much anti-divorce propaganda out there, and I call it propaganda because it is. It's anti-divorce propaganda, which is just not right. I just think it is wrong, and it's not God's intention. And these people that do that, like this article, they're fear mongering. Let me see. I want to see that again. I think there is actually a name on it. Where is it? Not, it's all the way down. Way on the bottom. Anyways, I can't find it right now. But yeah, if you can find a divorce is sin, you'll probably find it. All right, I'm going to finish up and I'll talk to you later. Bye.